There's been a lot of news lately and over the past year about tariffs. So I'd like to cut through the noise here and answer a very important question. Who even pays for them? In order to proceed here, we're going to have to understand what a tariff even is in the first place. A tariff is essentially a tax that is placed on imported foreign goods. So who makes them? Who gets to set tariffs? Well, it's the government. Whatever country in question, the government is the entity that sets and regulates tariffs. Alright, so what do tariffs even do and why would a government use them? Well, there's three main kinds. There are protective tariffs. The logic behind a protective tariff is that the government makes it more expensive for companies to import foreign goods. What that does is it incentivizes companies to buy local goods. So, for example, if the United States placed a 5% tariff on foreign steel, it would incentivize American companies to buy American steel instead. Another one of the three main kinds is a diplomatic or retaliatory tariff. So, if you were in negotiations with a country, you could threaten to tariff them as a way to get them to do what you want in a negotiation. The other main kind of tariff is a revenue tariff. These are designed to, well, bring in revenue for the government. The logic behind these is that every time a company has to pay what is essentially a tax on an imported foreign good, it sends a little bit of extra money to the government. Unfortunately, however, as I'm sure many of you know, tariffs are no silver bullet. While they can be powerful, they are often limited and can have very devastating consequences. There's a reason why the global tariff rate has gone down so much in recent decades, because many economists and politicians have found that they're just not that useful. Which brings us back to our original question. Who actually pays for them? Well, as I alluded to earlier, it's companies and corporations who have to pay up first. Anyone who imports a tariffed foreign good has to pay the government a certain rate. This amounts to essentially a tax. Now, on the surface, taxing a company or corporation might not sound that bad. However, these companies and corporations have ways to adjust for these tariffs that end up hurting you. You see, when a company is faced with a tariff, they're not always able to replace their foreign imports with local purchases. Sometimes they are, but oftentimes they can't. And when faced with this problem, many of these companies who run on tight margins are forced to raise prices. Who pays those higher prices? You. Now, to give you a modern example of how big of a difference this can make, some studies conducted of Donald Trump's recent tariffs over the last year have found that it cost the average American household over $1,000. This is because, again, when companies are hit with tariffs, they raise their prices, and the consumers are the ones who ultimately pay the cost.